Rwby! Oh! There goes my second and my last joke about Rwby. I've run out of them. Send your jokes to me so I can steal them. Wait, Rwby, Volume 5, Chapter 2. Once again, I don't know the name. But put it there, Matt, because then people know the name. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it more than last week's chapter. It was good. There was a lot of interesting interactions, and then we got a good bit, and then we got good bits. So 3 good bits altogether, and we got to see more. It was more about the villains more than anything, but it's always interesting to learn about the villains because we don't know a lot about them because we see very little. So I'm hoping in Volume 5 we're gonna be like, hey, a bit more about the villains. So it starts off with Leonardo and Dr. Watts going to have a meeting with Salem. And it made me realise I do quite like the villains, actually, because at first I was like, oh, whatever, they're okay villains. This time I was like, okay, they've got a bit more, we're seeing a bit more about them, like, they don't get on with each other. So, that moment before the meeting even started, Dr. was like, I'm always curious about this thing. Cinder, tell me, can you see me through this? I mean, without you, of course you've got your eye in. Like, that personal dig at Cinder, I was like, whoa, Chris Sabat, chill. You're not Vegeta here, or Zoro, or any of your other fantastic roles. I'm still trying to have faith about Leonardo. I am. But when he's like, and of course, he had to tell, like, if Watts knew that Leonardo knew about the Spring Maiden, and he didn't tell Salem, there'd be a lot of trouble. So now Salem knows about the Spring Maiden, and she's asserting a dominance over him when he's just, like, he just spoke a bit out of turn. Not like a lot, he didn't say anything to her, he's like, yes, you must hurry, and then she went for him. I also thought that was, originally I did think that might have been Watts' weapon or something, might see Watts fight this time. We're probably not going to see Watts fight just yet. Only because, of course, they've got Tyrion. Basically, yes. I also learned, I figured this out as well. Well, I didn't figure it out, but it occurred to me that Rwby has done more damage to any of them than anyone else. So, you know, she got rid of Neo, not that important, sure, but she got Cinder out of action for a few months at least, and she cut off Tyrion's tail. Rwby has done more damage to whoever they are, if what their organization name is, the Grim guys, the Grim guys. Oh my god. She's done more damage than anyone else has. And I was like, fair play, Rwby! It just kind of, it clocked into my head. And of course, Cinder wants revenge against Rwby for damaging her eye. And I didn't mention it last time, but basically what it seems to be is, because they're going to go after the Spring Maiden. So, Dr. Watts is going back to wherever Salem is to fix Tyrion's tail. So we're not really going to see Tyrion and Watts, I think, for the rest of this volume. Like, we might see bits of them, but I can't see him, like, in action or in combat, things like that. Because I think next time, like, the next big fight I imagine we'll have with Tyrion might be like a rematch against Crow or something. Just an idea. And then, of course, like, they're teasing Dr. Watts to us a lot. And I think I'm very curious about all of them, though, now. Especially, like, well, not as much Tyrion, because Tyrion's just standard psychopath, but, like, all their different personalities, where they've come from, how they've got to meet Salem. Especially Watts and Hazel. They're the two I'm really curious about more than anything. But, yeah. So, Cinder's on her way she's gonna go join. So we might get a Cinder and Rwby rematch in the future. I don't know if we will. I think Jean's probably going to be the one. This is my opinion, because obviously she killed Pyrrha. Jean might be the one to take down Cinder in the end, and that might be like his awakening. Okay, I'll say this. Jean's my favourite character because the moment I first saw him I was like, he's got potential. I know there's going to be something about him. They point him out as Vomit Boy, but he's got potential. I see it. And of course everyone is slowly building it up. I just want to have like this Super Saiyan 2 moment. I want a Gohan Cell Games moment with this guy, where he's just like, where he's a force. Like not unstoppable, but extremely powerful. Everyone's like, back off from him. I think, and that might be his character arc, and I just don't want him to go a bit, like, I don't want him to go emo about him, be like, oh, I'm so done. I don't want him to go the Sasuke route of vengeance. Just like, there's better routes of vengeance for him, though. Yeah. So, once again, I'm trying to have faith in Leonardo, too. I just want him, because I think it'd be great if he just, like, plays along and just so that he can get him there, so him and Crow can be like, surprise, boom, 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 boom. I'd love it if that was it, because I've still got faith, because if Ozpin trusted Leonardo that much, then there's got to be a chance, but there's still that time. Like I said last week, I think he's going to have redemption, if not. At the very least, he'll have this moment of redemption where I think he'll end up talking to Rwby, and Rwby will be like, there's always a choice kind of thing, and and then he'll get through to her, and then I think he's going to die. I don't know when. I think he'll die at some point, though. I think that's a guess. That is a guess. Yeah, I think I've covered everything with that. Salem was very good. The voice actress is the voice actress for Cortana in Halo, and yeah, Jessica something. No, it's not Anna Negri Salem. I can't remember her name. Anyway, everyone did really well performance-wise for that bit. Then we have the fight with Weiss, and I was a bit concerned about the fights because obviously you hadn't seen one, and normally each volume starts off with some kind of big fight. Volume 1 was the theft, Volume 2 was the food fight, Volume 3 was the tournament, Volume 4 was against the Golem Grim, and they didn't start off, so I was a bit concerned. They didn't disappoint. It was really good. I was really impressed with it. Like, it was, an air fight was different from what I was expecting. I also thought Weiss was going to be on a train. It was actually her still on the plane. So that might be her, like, big moment series. Not that she's going to have, like, all of the volume even. Not that she's going to have any more. But I think it's mostly going to be like, hey, this was her most, like, standout moment in the chapter. Of course I could be wrong. There's another 10 chapters left of this. So that's a possibility at the very least. Then we had, so that fight was good. It was interesting, Weiss doing all these different things with it. I like the design of the Lancers a lot. That it's a Wasp Grim was interesting. Then they literally tear apart, like they shoot down the tails. I thought that was really cool. And then we got the Queen Lancer showing up, and the pilot was useful too. We also learned about, like, the setting. Let me talk about the setting, because this is all just going through my head. The setting was really good. I love the idea of, like, floating islands. That just that as a concept to me is cool. So when there's actually a bunch of them, they have to, like, fly through the floating islands and, like, hold them off. That was cool. I like that idea a lot. Like, yeah. So far, design, like, location-wise, they've been really good. So they've had, like, a mountain city of Mistral. They have, like, the flying islands there. There's gravity dust as well, as we learn, which is pretty cool for you OC creators out there. And then we got the main bit with the Queen Lancer, and nothing was working against her. Now, my gripe, it's not a real big gripe. I've let it slide because I thought about it, and it's how Monty worked too. So was only when she launched all the dust at it and it was still fine. Like, I think I would have been okay if it expected some damage, but it was still okay. And I was like, oh no, okay, I guess it's powerful Grim, I get it. But how that worked, and yet how that didn't work, but yet the Ice Knight did, I was a bit like, I don't know how I feel about that, because I get it, but isn't dust supposed to be the best thing to fight against Grim? And if dust isn't working, the Ice Knight probably shouldn't. But we also work under the rules of Monty Ohm's rule of cool, which is if it's cool enough, it doesn't necessarily have to make sense. So I let it slide because the Ice Knight was incredibly cool. No puns intended. But I loved it because This Life Is Mine came on, because that never really got a shine. That was a song back in the Volume 4 soundtrack. Never got a moment, and it was all about Weiss just being like, hey, I'm an independent woman. And it's a really good song, and as much as I would have loved a new Rwby song, I was totally fine with this, because it was just so cool, the Ice Knight, and it just went when it ran, and then some of the giant sword, and then it was like boom, 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 like she was summoning them left and right to take him down. So I think, obviously she still knew what the Ice Knight stuff, but that's giving me more confidence that she can probably create like bigger and stronger ones, or even like a few of them at a time, and that could be awesome for like some like wicked combos. And then she managed to stop, then the ship crashed because it got attacked by this by the Queen Lancer at the same time, and it made me realise how broken Weiss's semblance is. So she can use it to like slow down, she can use it as platforms, like pretty much run up walls. She can use it to boost her own attacks, she can use it to summon things that she's defeated. It's really broken. I like it a lot, don't get me wrong, but Weiss's semblance is broken. It needs some kind of downside to it. I don't know what. Like, whether if it's just exhausted, so it might be that, because she couldn't move really, so she can't really fight as far as I can see, while she summoned those guys, while she summoned the Ice Knight. But at the same time, she was on a plane, she was on an aircraft in the middle of the ocean. She couldn't, it's not as if she could exactly jump out and fight along with it. But at the very least, that might be a downside to consider. But from the opening at the same time, I don't think that'll be a thing that happens. I said a lot really quick. And then we got to the chapter's final moment, which was Adam and Sienna Khan, I think her name is. I know it's Khan because I feel like I don't think they've officially said, but previously the White Fang have kind of been based on the Jungle Book. So, for example, like Blake's dad was based on Bagheera, as far as we can tell, and she's definitely based on Shere Khan, as far as we can guess. Well, it's when she's got the name Khan and she's a tiger fauna, so you can guess from there. And yeah, actually that's a bit of a gripe too. It's not much, but I think I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. But my main point was this: with the whole thing, was like if Adam was gonna kill her, like if that was his intention to do it anyway, and the guards knew it, and everyone and the others knew it, why didn't he just do it when straight away? Because there wasn't any need for that kind of conversation. I mean, I suppose it was to see if, like, on the off chance she'd agree with him, and I understand that, because then that might have been partially the other, they might have, like, I'm not saying that Adam would have done this, but everyone's like, you know, give us a chance to talk to her, see what she says, because we might be able to get her to join our side. And then it was only at the point where she's like, I'm not going to join you guys. He ended up killing her. Yeah. I would have just liked to have seen more from her, partially because she was the High Leader of the White Fang. She was the White Fang's top dog. Ha, she's a faunus. She was, and it was just interesting to see. I would have just liked to have seen a bit more, especially like I said, she's based off Shere Khan. Shere Khan in the Jungle Book is feared throughout the jungle. I would have just liked to have seen a bit more of her. Like if she died in the chapter, that would have been fine. But nevertheless, I would have liked to seen a bit more from her too. Also, I think it's only now I realise who the Spring Maiden is, because I wasn't sure who the High Leader White Fang was. For a second I thought it was, in the opening, it's the girl opposite Cinder, but she's probably the Spring Maiden more than anything. Yeah. And then Hazel showed up, and Hazel's a really interesting character to me, because yeah, he's on the bad guy side, but he seems to avoid conflict and kind of support humanity. I only say that because, you know, with Oscar at the end of, he's an interesting character to me, because think back to Volume 4 when he interacted with Oscar. Ozpin was in, Oscar said like, this is an incredibly dangerous man. And he doesn't seem it, but at the very least he's trying to avoid conflict. At the same time, like when he rolled up, the White Fang was like, listen, we don't have to fight. We can talk this through. No one has to die today. And that's what he said at the end with Adam was like, no one has to die. No one had to die today. Why did you do this kind of thing? And I suppose on the plus side, just thinking about Adam is it adds to Adam's character to show like he's brutal. He isn't taking any prisoners, and that was partially to do with his plan. Now he's not just planning to become equal with humans. He wants to be above humans. So was this the prequel to Gurren Lagann? But yeah, I'm interested in Hazel a lot, only because I feel like, I don't know, out of all of them, back to what he said to Oscar, he was like, don't let anything stand in your way. Maybe he's lost someone dear to him, and Salem's was like, you know, let's not make this happen again. If you help me, we can win. And maybe he's just on, I think out of all of them, as too soon as it is to say, if anyone was on the side of the good guys, it might be Hazel. I think if he was out, like I said, Ozpin, just because, you get my point. I think Hazel could be good. Well, like, he has the potential to be good at some point and not always stay on the bad guy side. Like, I'm talking like near the end of the series kind of stuff with this. And I would just like to see, I'd like to definitely learn more about Hazel more than anyone, because, you know, the others are kind of like mean and psychotic, the other ones of Salem's group. But Hazel's not that bad in comparison. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for watching. This is my review B of Rwby. I used that joke already, but it's a good one. Who am I kidding? If you like this video, give it a like. If you want to talk about Rwby, comment down below. And if you want to see more Rwby reviews, which are normally out, well, I can't say they're normally out because this is the second one I've done, which I try and get out at a decent time. Subscribe, please. I also talk about other stuff. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Cool!